Much of who we are is shaped by our personal, work, and social roles, which evolve in a given context and over a period of time. These roles feed on each other and are further influenced by our choices and compulsions. How does this process manifest in the early stages of life? How does married life and parenthood impact the role matrix? What if this involves a geographical and cultural transition? Across life phases, how does one protect and nurture personal passions? In all this drama, how does one celebrate one's being and becoming? To explore this subject and more, here is a conversation with Shweta Inamdar, a dancer, mother, and software engineer currently living and working in Oakland, California, in the US. A professional dancer for over 16 years, first with Shiamak Davar Institute in Bangalore and now with Mona Khan Company in San Francisco Bay Area, Shweta truly believes in celebrating life in all its hues and shades. Welcome, Shweta, to this conversation.
Hey, hi Milin. It's great to be here, and I feel really honored that you reached out to me and asked about this opportunity. Actually, it was Asha ma'am who reached out, and uh, I was amazed by that, and I was really surprised, and I'm. It's been like so many years, like know each other for like so long, and we are still in touch, and we are still keeping a tab on each other. And
Actually, it gives me such a joy and a pleasure to reconnect with you. And this podcast, gave us a reason for us to connect. I think after what, 18, 19 years almost.
probably, yeah,
2005, 2006 is probably
that's
when
right.
we met first, when you were uh, finishing your computer science engineering here in India.
Hmm.
And that's where we met first. And you have always been our mind. For some reason or the other, there are certain connections, certain people, though the interactions are way back in the past, but somehow there is some impact of that person that you always carry, and you have been one such person for sure, for both me and Asha. And what I'm also glad is we are doing this podcast conversation over a Zoom call
Hmm.
across two places diametrically opposite, two parts of the world. I mean, here I am sitting in my home in Pune in India, and
Hmm.
you are in Oakland, California in the US, and we are recording
Yes,
across two opposite time zones. So what a wonderful way to reconnect. uh,
yes, definitely.
you know uh, very recently we had two episodes uh, where there was one phrase that was common to both the people I was in conversation with,
Mhm.
and both of them said this in exactly the same words, that everybody can and should dance.
Mhm.
So I know you are a prolific dancer yourself. So what's your take on this phrase?
Yeah, I think that's well said. You know, I see as dance. I see dance as it's a medium of releasing, anything you have inside, and just like filling yourself up with happiness. Many people approach me and they're like, okay, I have never danced in my life, like, do you think I can dance? And I tell them that, like, okay, just come to my class and we'll see. Okay. And we have like different, like, I teach different levels of class here in Bay Area in US. I'm part of Mona Khan company's troupe, and I have been teaching with her for like 12 years here in US. And before this, I was teaching with Shiamak Davar back in Bangalore. And that was also for like around 4 to 5 years. Um, it has never happened that a student has joined the class, and at the end of like each quarter, like we generally run the classes in like 8 to 9 weeks. So I tell them that like, okay, today is the first class, uh, just be patient, let's come back after 2 months and see what's there. And you would not believe, like, I have not seen a single person who cannot move on the music. And then I go back to them and I say like, okay, what do you feel now? They're like, oh yeah, I'm professional dancer. Yeah, so this happens. And I think it's everybody should dance, like it doesn't matter. And it's people think is like dancing is just like on, particularly when I people ask me that like what do I teach, I tell them that like, okay, I teach the Bollywood dancing. So they always think about like all this tick 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 music, they're like, oh yeah, I don't think like I don't know whether I like that type. And I'm like, okay, like Bollywood has given us so much. It's not just the party music, it has like so many flavors. So I take the songs from Bollywood, but then the style could be anything. Like I teach like hip hop, jazz, I teach contemporary, I teach Indo jazz, different styles, rock and roll. So it's just the music is from Bollywood movies, but like you can do like different moves on that. So my message to everyone is like, yeah, you should dance. Like everyone has to dance. And age doesn't matter. Like if you see these days, like we are in this open world, like where Instagram is our tip of our hands, and you can go and see that like there are so many people regardless of any age are like putting their talent out. So it's just a matter of doing that, taking that first step and just doing it.
I saw your Insta page, and of course, it's full of many of your dances, and it's so
Mhm.
fascinating to watch you dance. Uh, Probably you are the most energetic amongst the whole group, as I see it, even though you are the teacher. But there are two performances of yours, Shweta, which I got glued to.
Mhm.
One was a number from an old Hindi film called Dil To Pagal Hai. And then there was the other one where you have danced, I think, on a rap song from Gully Boy.
Oh,
And
okay.
you
Yeah.
performed it on the streets of San Francisco, somewhere in the Mission District.
Yes.
So walk me through these two very distinct experiences that you've had, both learning and teaching.
I mean somehow like these two are like not that that far, whenever when I look at it, like um the I think, as I said, right, like it's just about like when you hear the song, right, like
Yep, yep.
now it has become like such a habit that you start like immediately start thinking about like, oh, how would this flow, like if I have to perform on that song, that like, oh, okay, yeah, I think like, yeah, like dancing for so many years like has introduced this like understanding of music in a way that like, okay, there is like a starting music, that there is a transition, and there is like a chorus, and the other parts of music. And then like I think it's like it has become like a ABCD for as a choreographer. And it's like it's easy, it's that way for like many of the choreographers. It's like you immediately like pick up the music, and you just like start doing it. You just know how to feel the song. So it's all about like feeling the song, and like the steps come naturally. In fact, like this is still like as I said, like these two styles are still like very close. I think the challenging things I have done is like we had performed Kathak on a jazz song.
Wow.
And the thing is a song from like Jaane Ki Zid Na Karo.
Yeah.
It's the from the older movie. I don't know the movie, but then there is like a jazz version of it, like in the recent movies. And then we had performed a combination of jazz and Kathak in the single performance.
Wow.
And it was like two group of dancers were dancing on the same stage at the same time. uh, it's we we kind of like, portrayed two eras at in that performance. And it was like, it touched my heart, like, like I was so happy performing on, I was doing the Kathak part of it. And there were like, like some of the pieces where both of these like dancers interacting with each other with the style of movement, and it's just that like conversing each with each other through that those dance moves.
So if I'm one of your students going through a 6 or 8 week course, you are my teacher.
Mhm.
What kind of uh, statements or what kind of words you would I listen from you? Let's say when I have done a great step or when I have messed it up, what would I hear from
Oh,
you?
oh, okay. Yeah, great step. It's easier, it's like, I'll be like, let's say you're a new student in my
Yes.
class, and like, I have these other students, and then, you suddenly surprise me. I'll stop, and I'll stop the class, and then I'll say that like, oh, did you see Milin, like how he did it? I just want to see same thing from everyone else.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and it gives like, that person like suddenly feels like, oh wow, this is my first day in the class, and then, I have already, my instructor is paying attention, and like,
Correct.
yeah. So that would be like, if you're doing great, like. And the thing is, it also depends on like, what level. For
Yes, of
example, like,
course. Of course.
in basic, but in advanced, like even if you're doing good, but I know that you have potential to do better, I
Yeah.
would say, I'm kind of pushy, from that perspective. So I'll be like, oh yeah, that was a good run, but I think you guys can do much better than this, like, I think I didn't see that like, performance coming out. Yeah. And then like, all the students are like, all they always know that like, what I'm talking about, like, at that point, and they always deliver that. So that's what, you would hear. It depends on, different levels. And if you have messed up, like, it again, it's, I mean, I'm not gonna, I'll not be kidding about this, but like, in basic, again, like you mess it up, I'll be like, yeah, that's totally fine. Remember, we are here to have fun. Okay,
Correct.
forget about everything else. In higher levels, if you mess up, and yeah, it might like, just upset me a bit, and I sometimes like, show it in my class, but I think like, my students know me really well now. So if I'm upset in one of the classes, in fact, like, that class, like, just like, sometimes they have come together and practice, and then next week they come back and they just surprise me, and I'm like, okay, I think this upset, like, getting upset sometimes in the class is good. But yeah, I think it's it comes because I'm like so passionate about it, is like, and then yeah, my expectation always like from my students is like, okay, I know you, like, I have seen you, and you can always like go out there and like, do, like 20% like better than this, or like, 50% better than this. So I like to try to push students.
No, I know, I know, I know. Shweta, whatever little I know of you, your own performance benchmarks that you set for yourself are also so very high. I mean, you expect and ask a lot of yourself, for sure. I mean, that's why you have been where you are. And uh, by the way, this is not your day job. You are a techie, you are a software engineer. Now, your dance classes are both, open format where anybody can come, and I think you also do a lot of in-company trainings, I'm told, for
Yeah.
your own employees of the company that you work for. Question I have is, um, are your students only Indians or there are non-Indians also? And how do they take to, your style of dancing and the way you train them on the various dance style? Let's say, non-Indians, Americans, or Asians from other parts of the world.
Yeah, generally, like, so I have been teaching in San Francisco for like almost 10 years now. And San Francisco, like, it's mix of crowd. Generally, it's we always get people from like, other, like, other regions and other countries. And I always ask them that, like, how did you, like, first of all, like have you heard of Bollywood music before, or like have you, like how did you decide to do this. And generally they have friends, or like, they've, I think Indian music is so popular, like, they'll hear some, like, Bhangra song, and they're like, oh yeah, I think, like, I want to learn Bollywood music, Bollywood dancing, and then they join. So it's always mix of crowd and mix of levels, mix of age groups, and uh, again, like, mix of professions also.
What sort of friendships have you been able to forge thanks to your dance career? Because I know a dance class is a group of people whom you kind of grow with over a period of couple of weeks, from kind of complete strangers day one to probably, I don't know, maybe a small community in itself. So, over the
Oh
last
yes.
10, 12 years that you have been teaching, how has this helped you build your own network of friends and communities?
Oh wow. uh, uh, you know um, I think most of my friends are from dance. Uh,
Oh,
if I have to say, like, today, if I have to count, most of my friends are from dance. Like, actually, like, uh, I hold this Mona Khan company, and like all my dance friends, this family is like, I consider them as like my second family. They're so close to heart, and I think, like, as dancers, right? Like, we understand each other really well. Like, be it from any profession, I think we know this, like, this discipline and synchronization and patience and control, all these things, like, we all go through it, like, so together. So that I think that creates this, like, really, like, deep connection, I feel. And um, you'll be you'll be laughing, but, like, from my dance students, there have been two to three couples at least who have married, and they have their kids, and they met through my dance classes. So it's been that deep. And like, as I told you, like, I started teaching in San Francisco, and um, like, a bunch of my students came to me, and they were like, you always want to go back to, like, your roots, right? Like, you always want to find friends who have different, like hobbies other than just like coding, and just sitting on your laptop. So they were like, oh, we didn't know, like, where to go, and we just heard about your dance class, and we just came. And you will not believe that, like, I didn't know that there are so many Indians who live in San Francisco itself, and there are, like, so many people who are, like, so passionate about Bollywood. And so I have my classes generally on Thursdays in the evening. And you wouldn't believe, like, there was time that, like, after my class is over, this whole class used to go to a club next to my class. They used to have, like, a whole party there. And
yeah.
then next day I used to get to know that, like, oh, this happened, what happened last night, we did this, we did that. So they have, like, it's become like, it's become great. I'm so glad that, like, dance is part of my life.
No, what you said a little while ago about a couple of people, meeting and coming together in your class, and then, falling into a relationship and eventually getting married.
Hmm.
Now, I'm tempted to share something very personal over here, but it's not that me and Asha got married thanks to the dance, but then
Hmm.
uh, I think almost 10 years into our marriage, uh, we happened to see a movie together,
Hmm.
and beautiful, beautiful movie, Richard Gere, Jennifer Lopez, called Shall We Dance? And we were so possessed with what we saw there and
Hmm.
what dance could do to people. And we said, Asha, we have to do this and we have to learn this. And she says, yes, this anniversary of ours, we
Hmm.
will gift ourselves a an enrollment into a dance class.
Oh
And
wow.
there's another friend of ours, goes by the name Unni Krishnan Sudhir.
Hmm.
He and Tanu, his teacher, the two of them were teaching Latin American and ballroom dancing in Pune
Nice.
over a 4 week period. And the 4 weeks that Asha and I went through learning, Latin American dance and ballroom, and I took a lot to rumba. I don't know why, uh, but rumba was my favorite, and it rekindled a different flavor of love between me and Asha. And every time, as couples, we also fight, and there have been a couple of fights where those were resolved over a few dance moves. you know
Oh,
I lost it, she lost it, and we didn't know what to do. So we just said, let's put on some music, and then we just dance, and
oh,
everything
that's
was over.
amazing. Okay.
But dance is one world, but you have been a techie, you are a computer science engineer. Your formative years were in India, and that's where we
Hmm.
met in your college. Uh,
Hmm.
how was this whole transition for you, from being in India and moving into the US? Of course, thanks to the job
Hmm.
that you did, but then walk us through uh, what Shweta went through in that journey, and
Hmm.
what is it that she discovered along the way when she moved from India into
Hmm.
the US?
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a big topic. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I was doing engineering in, College of Engineering, Pune, COEP. And after that, got an job opportunity in Bangalore, and started working there, and then joined Yahoo after some years. And there had an opportunity like, to move to the US in around 2012. uh, yeah, it just happened that, like, my team was here, and uh, my manager, who was in the US, he asked me, like, do you want to move to US? And um, that never was on the plan before. uh, it just sounded like a great opportunity, and they're like, I'm thankful to, like, couple of leaders I had that time, like, who made this move possible. And literally, like, so many of my friends, they have come here, they graduated, they did like masters, and they went through like a lot of troubles, to make those make those that education happen, and, like, get a job along the way. Like, they've gone through like a lot of hardships. But like, I got an opportunity just to move from Yahoo Bangalore to Yahoo Sunnyvale. And it just felt, at that time, like, they didn't used to move a lot of people. It was like very few people. And the moment I got the opportunity, like, decided to take it up. So yeah, so like, moved here in 2012. And yeah, it's been, I think, it was like first time I actually, I'm not I'm not joking, but first time I visited US, and that was in San Diego. And I came in like 2007 or so, and that was through another company. I literally felt homesick. And I was like, okay, what is happening? Like, there are no people on the streets. And I think, unfortunately, I had come in like month of January, when it's like winter, and it gets dark at like 5 p.m. And I had my manager sent me alone, like, at that point of time. And he's like, oh, just explore and just go and do your stuff. And I was like, I was like so lost. And I was just counting days, to go back to Bangalore. And uh, after that, like, I visited a couple of times more. And I met friends at that point. And I think when I got this opportunity to move, fortunately, like, my school friend, like, she was already in the Bay Area, and that kind of gave me little comfort. And another thing which was like, you'll say it's funny, is like, I asked her, are there Bollywood classes or like Bollywood dancing in Bay Area? She's like, don't worry, just, I mean that time it was still like not that much. Like, now, like, in Bay Area,
Of course.
Bollywood dancing is super common. But like, this, like, 12 years back, she's like, okay, let me like inquire a bit, and then I'll let you know. And then she told me that, like, oh, there is this Mona Khan company, and they run the classes, and you'll be able to continue dancing there. And I was like, okay, fine, yeah. And that was like, okay, yeah, that was, even if it was like not a major factor in my decision making, it was still a kind of important factor. And got to know that, like, oh, there is still Bollywood dancing in Bay Area. And I was like, okay, fine. And I think, yeah, when I had visited like Bay Area, like before doing the permanent move, uh, I guess it feels like little India,
Of course.
not not gonna joke, but like, yeah, it's familiar, it's you don't feel like, left out, and you feel like, welcome to the to the country by your friends and colleagues, and you really feel good. So I think the move was challenging, and that time uh, didn't think much of, like, how many years I'm going, and what is my, like, long term plan. And it's been like 12 years and I'm still here, and I really like it. And I'm glad I got this opportunity.
Shweta, over the years, a lot of Indians have moved for education or for work to the US, UK, Canada, Australia, Singapore, for
Mhm.
example.
Yeah.
One of the first things that people learn is this phrase called DIY,
Mhm.
do it yourself.
Yes.
Because, growing up years in India, we have such a strong and a functioning support system called family,
Oh,
where
yes.
there is help available everywhere. And it actually makes you dependent in many ways. But then when
Hmm.
you leave the shores, you go to a foreign nation, you realize that you're all by yourself. You have to find your own way, and then you choose the DIY. There is also a realization that happens, I'm told. I have never moved to any place outside of India. Of course, I've traveled all around the world for work and pleasure, but never lived outside of India for a longer
Hmm.
period like you guys. Uh, there's also then the realization that actually I'm not independent, I'm also dependent. So I wonder, being one of those many Indians who have migrated to the US,
Hmm.
how has this experience of independence, dependence, and if I can use the word interdependence, uh, you
Hmm.
know played out for you? Because I know you guys have a strong community which is kind of backing each other up.
That's right. Yeah, that's totally true. And as I mentioned before, that yeah, when I first visited Bay Area, it felt like a little India, and just felt like, okay, this could be my home. And but yeah, like when I moved here, right, like I think as I remember, right, like I was setting up the house, and we were supposed to get furniture. And in India, you just order furniture, it comes home, they do everything for you, and you just enjoy the luxury. Here, I ordered the furniture, and it came in pieces and screws and parts, and and that was the first realization that, like, oh, okay, you are now not in India. you have to you have to build yourself, like you have to build everything by yourself. And that was like, the first time when I built this a closet. I felt like an achievement. I felt like, oh my God, this, I have never done this before in my entire life. And okay, like, it's not that complicated, and you can do it. And it just like, yeah, that's what, like, what you talked about is like DIY is like, and it is, I just gave example of furniture, but this is like in case of everything.
In all this, whilst you were kind of negotiating your life as an individual,
Hmm.
uh, through the DIY mode and other things, there are two interesting transitions that happened to you. One,
Hmm.
you got married, and
Hmm.
two, you became a mother. So how has these two transitions been for you, from a DIY lens and from a dependent lens?
Oh, I got a partner to do DIY with, or I would say, like, sometimes I just push it on him, you do it now, like you're part of this house, and it's that's the thing. But yes, yeah, like it's, of course, like it's been beautiful, like, I have no words. And I from one person, I'm now three. Actually, I'm like four, I would say. I have a dog, and so I tell people that like, yeah, I have, I have two kids already. First is my dog and second is my daughter. So that way, so we are like, I say that we are family of four. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey, and it has changed me a lot, like a lot, I feel, and in a good way. I probably, like, you keep saying that like this energetic, and I think that energy has come down a bit now with with being a mother. I still try to keep it, like, but I feel myself that like, yeah, maybe that, yeah, that energy shifted to something else now, like, being a mom, it's a lot of work, it's and it's amazing. I mean, that experience is, no words for that,
You know,
like, yeah.
as men, Shweta, what is it that Mother Nature has denied our kind of species, the species of men, is
Mhm,
the experience of childbirth and the first few weeks thereafter,
mhm,
which, the only thing we can do is be with our partner through that process.
mhm,
We have helped in the conceiving process. We have participated in the entire 3 trimesters of pregnancy. We have gone and done our counseling together. But then childbirth and
mhm.
thereafter, and even before that, even the conception part, a lot of it, the woman has to carry on her own shoulder by herself. At least as a man, I realize this.
Mhm.
What's your take on that, and what has been your experience, if at all, I could ask you?
Yeah. First of all, like, I got married just pre-COVID. Now I think we all our conversations, we say pre-COVID and post-COVID
Correct,
era. So I'm,
correct.
I'm using that. So I got married like pre-COVID in 2019, and of course, like, COVID happened in around like 6 months, and like yeah, we of course, like, I always wanted to be a mother, and we started like initially, and we had to go through some fertility treatments, and I had to go through IVF, to conceive, and like my husband, my partner, he has been super supportive, and he has been there, like, there was no point I felt like, I need to reach out to someone else to share my feelings, my whatever I'm going through, my anxiety. And he comes from like a doctor family, like his sister, they're like, all of them are doctors, his whole family. So I feel fortunate enough that, like, I had that support as well, because always used to like just reach out to my sister-in-law if I had any questions. And and that was like COVID time, so it was very tough. Like, we were in fact like thinking whether should we go to India and then, like, do or hold this IVF treatment with her, being there. She's a gynecologist, so we thought about it, but I think it's just like during COVID, it was pretty challenging. So we decided to continue our journey here, and yeah, I think it was, for like as a mother, like, like as just one like person who's going through that, like it was very like, ups and downs. And one thing I realized, yeah, through this journey is like being patient, and being ready, to accept the failures. You know you They don't get success always, and that time, this rejection or failure is heartbreaking. And I think for it's only women, I mean, of course, like, men are there, but I think it's only a woman can understand that.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, so being through that, I think you also become a little tough, like, and but like you also become like a lot hopeful. uh, and as a my husband, even like pre-pregnancy and post-pregnancy, I am like surprised, like the amount of patience and maturity he has. And he has been like, you know uh, being quiet, and just like being on the receiving end all the time. And I know how I was, post pregnancy. I was going through a lot, and Sometimes I just used to sit and cry, and he would just come there and just sit next to me, and he'll chat, and then he'll get me out of that. And so yeah, it's been tough, and being here, right, like being in US with so less of support system.
Correct.
It's super hard. Like I had my parents here when my daughter was born, but I cannot imagine like how people would have done it during COVID time, who didn't have the support system. It's super tough. And I was just lucky to have my husband and my parents around me at that time. So it's that I think that is one of the challenges. I feel like every couple goes through, who have their kids here, is there is childcare, but I wouldn't say it's that strong. Like in India back, I I don't even remember like how did we grow up, right? Like
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as
early.
they say, you need a village to grow up a child. I mean, in
That's
India,
true.
you have neighbors and relatives and just about everybody. But then, I mean, that's a cultural difference. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what it is. But then, um, walk me through the conversation you were having with yourself
Mhm.
in the first few days or first 3 or 4 weeks that your daughter Noori, right? Yeah,
That's right. Mhm.
yeah. So what a beautiful name. So
Thank you.
walk me through the first few days or first few weeks what is it that you were talking to yourself, your inner dialogue?
Yeah, it's I was just proud of myself. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's you create this life, and it's just amazing. I think I remember like I just used to just keep staring at her and like do nothing, and it just felt like wow, like I have no idea. And the thing is, in US, like most of the pregnancies, the deliveries are natural, like
Yes,
normal deliveries. Yeah.
yes.
So I had gone through one, and the pain I had gone through. Oh my God. Like, I think, I don't know how all women do it. Like,
You
oh,
went through it.
yeah, I went through it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is dangerous. This is, I can't even like imagine that, like, okay, I could take that much, that much hurt, that much pain. So, yeah. So, I had forgotten all that, of course. Like in a day, I had forgotten. In like few minutes, I had forgotten that. So, yeah. And I think first 3 4 weeks like were a little challenging in a way that like it's first kid, right? You don't know how to bring them up. They cry, you don't know sometimes like what to do, because it's like initially you just like follow textbook. Oh, try these 4 things, 1 2 3 4, and okay, is everything fine now? Like, is your kid like 90% of the times he or she will stop crying, but okay, what happens like at that 10%, right? Like no one has like no one knows what to do in those, and you just get panic, and you want to call doctors. And here, like the doctors, like it's not easy to reach to doctors sometimes, like so you're like in this constant worry. And I think I want to share this thing. Is like uh, our generation, and like I had my, as I said, like I had my parents with me, and their way of bringing up kid and our way of bringing up kid is totally different, like
Yeah, we have a Dr. Spock next to us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's like simple things, right? Like in India, right? You don't take your kid out for like what, like it's like 40
40
days or
days,
something like
40
that.
days, 40 days.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And here, right? Like the kids are outside in like, in a week. Yeah. And my mom and my husband, they used to like have this small fights and like disagreements here and there. Is like, okay, I think we should do it this way, or we should do it this way. Then I used to be like, okay guys, like I'm gonna take the decision, and let's just do that. I don't know whether this is the right or wrong. I just feel, you just feel, it's my gut feeling, and I want to do it that way. So I really don't remember what what happened like that time. It's like, everything is like so hazy. And I was like, okay, how did she grow up? She's 2.5 years now, and yeah, it's she's this amazing
Congratulations.
kid now. Yeah, yep.
Congratulations on having her and going through the process of from being a woman to being a mother. But that's something which, as men, we can only appreciate and salute all women
Mhm.
to bear this experience, to then bring
Mhm.
life into the world. I mean, for sure. Let's go back to the world of work that you are a part of. I mean,
Mhm.
you are a techie, you are a software engineer. You have not only moved from India into the US, within California Bay Area. You have moved a couple of places. You have moved a couple of companies,
Mhm.
uh, from startups to large corporations. And
Mhm.
I believe you are now going back to the startup world.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
So how has all that thing panned out for you?
Yeah, it's I think at least like I mean, most of the tech companies have good support for mothers. That was actually like a big perk in my company. Like I got like good amount of maternity leave, and I was able to spend time with my daughter. And even like coming back to work, it was like a transition period. Like started working like half a day, and then it transitioned into the full day. So yeah, it's been like a lot of changes. And I feel like being a mother and like being a full time having a full time job, it is sometimes very challenging. Initial like job opportunities were like, I think initially, like for example, like you just get out of college and you just take a job, right? At that time you don't think about it. Then there is like another job comes, and like it feels good. And you just feel like switching. But like when I like moved to US and I wanted to switch for the first time, like yeah, it was a little challenging process in a way that like, I mean, there are always these big companies, but I wanted to like go to like experiment and like try to go to like a mid-sized company, or like a startup kind of, and just experience like what are the what are those challenges, and how I cope up with them. So I did join like late stage startup. And yeah, it like went through like very exciting phases in that startup. And it got also acquired by a big company, and everything like worked out really well, I would say. Of course, like being in a startup, it has its own challenges, like initial times, like sometimes work life balance is not there. You have to work long hours, and it's just it's not structured well. There are no processes in place, and no perks.
So, so,
So many
so much,
things.
so much like the early stages of motherhood, isn't it? I mean, you are
Oh
cooking,
yes.
cleaning, washing, feeding the baby, cleaning the
I
nappies,
know.
getting onto the call. Just
You're
about what we call it as yatra tatra sarvatra. I'm
Oh
here,
wow.
I am there, I'm everywhere.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. You are like a soldier there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you
But
have to fight all the wars.
but then let's look at these three primary aspects of Shweta. One is the passionate dancer. I mean, dance means a lot to her. It has meant a lot to her over the years and continues to be so.
Mhm.
So there is this dancer, Shweta.
Mhm.
Then there is this mother, Shweta,
Mhm.
with the 2.5-year-old Noori,
Mhm.
and your little doggy too. And third is the software engineer, Shweta, who
Mhm.
is at the workplace, be it a large corporation or be it a startup.
Mhm.
When you look at these three Shwetas, what is it that is common to all three, and
Mhm.
what is it that is distinct amongst all three?
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, that's an interesting question. I think what is common in all these three is I think all these three Shwetas are curious, uh, always looking forward at, okay, like what's next? And, whatever experience I have gained, how do I use it uh, in those respective fields, or respective roles? Uh, so I would say, like, yeah, that's common. It's like that curiosity, and then the that willingness to just do better and better each day. I think I would say that's common. What's distinct? Oh, okay. Uh, I think a little bit of my like emotions are different in all these three places. You would see, like, yeah, I think if you see me at work sometimes, with serious conversations in serious meetings, and if you meet me in my dance class, you will see two different Shwetas sometimes. The moods are very different, the personality is a bit different. So I would say that, like, I think it's like dance is so close to my heart. Is like I just feel that, like, yeah, with dance, like, that my passion comes out, and you could see there. And that's that happens with uh like being a mom, right? Like, I think the patience uh shows, and this need of just do the right things, it's like stays there. With software engineer being that, like, it's just that uh, responsibility is like, okay, even though it's we say it's a job, but it's like, I have to be ethical, I have to be responsible, I have to be empathetic towards people, that personality comes out. So yeah, it's sometimes it differs.
They say that even though we play multiple roles in our life, each role feeds on other role, and each
Mhm.
role feeds the other role too. So,
That's right.
in many ways, I would like to believe that the dancer and the mother and the software engineer
Mhm.
is kind of, are helping each other to
That's
evolve,
right.
and to grow.
Mhm.
I'm now actually tempted to play a little game with you if you are up for it.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay,
Sure. Yeah, let's
yeah,
try that.
with a bit of after a bit of serious conversation, it's a very
Mhm.
simple game. You must have probably played this before. It's a game called the word association. I'll just say a word, and without applying any thought, instinctively the response that comes to your mind, uh, you
Okay.
know, you just need to give it. That's
Okay.
about it. Uh,
Okay. Yeah, let's try it.
and these ten words I have been noting
Oh, you
as.
have 10 words.
Yeah, I have 10 words. I have noted 10 words,
Okay.
and this is based on the conversation we have just had. As I
Mhm.
was listening to you, I was making some notes, and these 10
Okay.
words kind of showed up. So here we go. No thinking, instinctive response. Dance,
Love.
friends,
Being together.
work,
Responsibility.
US,
Land of opportunities.
India,
Land of lot of food.
family,
Home.
Nuri, your daughter,
Oh, everything. My world.
Suki, your dog,
Oh, okay. Loud and playful. And I have like a lot of words for her.
Rahul, your husband and partner,
I think I have to say love again. But yeah, it's a partnership, love and partnership.
and final, Shweta.
Uh, Passionate.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Shweta, this has been such a beautiful, beautiful conversation. You know, uh, what is it that you would like to tell Shweta right now?
I would like to tell her that yeah, you did good. I think we always are kind of tough on us. It's like, there is always this competition, rat race going on. But like, you have to sometimes take a step back and see what you have achieved, till that stage of your life, and retrospect, and like always, like help yourself, to do better. And I would say that, like, yeah, uh, I think I have, maybe, yeah, of course, like I've not done, like, not achieved like a lot of things, but like, whatever I have achieved, I feel content. And uh, I always tell myself that things happen for a reason. So be it a bad thing, be it a good thing, there is always a reason. And you just have to be like patient and go through those situations sometimes. But there is always good after bad, and bad after good. So so I would say that, yeah, it's it has been like, yeah, I'm proud of Shweta, who I am right today. Yep.
So well said, Shweta, because, on a personal note, Asha and I very recently went through a very fascinating phase of our married life.
Hmm.
Our son, who also goes by the name Rahul,
Hmm.
he lives in the Bay Area. He lives in San Jose. He got married this April,
Oh,
and
wow.
he's our only child. And
Hmm.
we came back after spending 3 weeks in the US to attend his wedding. And Asha and I, just the two of us, went for a week to Goa, uh,
Oh.
just to celebrate
Nice.
and feel good about ourselves.
Hmm.
Having been together for almost 33 years now, and looking back at the life we've had together,
Hmm.
and seeing our own son growing up. Now he's married, he's living in his own world.
Hmm.
And, we were sitting on the Benolim beach in South Goa watching the sunset. And we looked at each other, and without saying it in as many words, we could read it in each other's eyes that I think we have had a good run. We have done
Hmm.
good,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah,
exactly what you've just said right now. So I'm so
that's
happy
right.
for you, Shweta. I'm so happy and so proud about you. And I think it's not all about achievements. It's just like
Hmm.
gathering the little pieces of life that we are in, holding them together, whatever is, the near and dear to us. We will,
Hmm.
holding it very close to us and cherish those beautiful small moments that we have had together, and take each day as it comes. So,
Yeah.
and I wish you good luck. I wish you, you know, uh, all that you wish to do in the world of dance, in the world of family, and as a mother, in the world of work, and maybe
Hmm.
so many other roles that will open up for you in the future. So,
Hmm.
this has been such a beautiful and a wonderful conversation.
Hmm.
Love to hear from you. Where has this conversation left you with?
Yeah, so I think first I would like to say that, like, yeah, as you said, right, like life is a celebration. So I'm taking this moment as, like, celebrating, whatever our memories. And like, I'm very thankful to you to take me through this journey. Like, this is my first podcast ever, and uh, as I told you, I was nervous to start with, but yeah, it like, like right now I'm feeling like super happy. And as you know that, like, right now, like, I'm taking a break between the jobs. And if someone asks me that, like, okay, what did I do during my break, so this is going to be the highlight of that,
Wow.
highlight of my break. So this is how I feel. And it's generally, like, it's you don't sit and think about your past like memories. And you took me through that beautiful journey, and it was amazing. So thank you so much for that.
No, I think celebrating me is a big thing for all of us, and I think we all deserve it. Thank you for sharing all that you have been. Shweta, big hugs and kisses to you, to Rahul, to Nuri, to Suki, and maybe next time
Thank
we
you
are
so
in the
much.
Bay Area. Love to meet you, whether it is in the Oakland or wherever. But yes, love to meet and maybe have a meal or a dinner together sometime.
Oh yes, definitely, definitely. You are always welcome here. Yeah, you would love here. I can guarantee that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You take care.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you for your time today, my dear listeners. This is your host, Milind Agnihotri, signing off. Goodbye, take care, and stay safe. This podcast is for general information purposes only and should not be considered as a piece of any professional advice. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of its guest. Creators of this podcast expressly disclaim any and all liability or responsibility for any direct or indirect, consequential or other damages arising out of any individual's use of this podcast. For feedback and suggestions, please write to wingsindia75 at gmail.com. Thank you.